And then I'm going to share my screen. All right, let me pull my PowerPoint up real quick. All right, thank you so much for attending this. I just want to have this recorded to hand to people and to give to people to see if GI mapping could be a good fit for you, maybe even some of the people you know. And sometimes it's not a good fit. So that's why I like to go through just the fundamentals and the basics so that people can have an understanding of what they're opening the door to. So my name is Erin Nolan. I am a registered nurse. I've been a nurse for about 13 years, and I have transitioned to holistic coaching and educating people and supporting people. I have someone trying to get in real quick. There we go. Admit. On natural alternatives and wellness. So I've been doing that full time for about 5 years, about 6 years at this point. I am a certified essential oil specialist, and I am also a GI mapping specialist. And I work with a team, Pam Baxter, who is also a registered nurse and a GI mapping specialist, and then Dr. Savannah Zen is the doctor that we work with, and she is also a GI mapping specialist. And I have over here our GI mapping logo. That is the course that we went through, specifically learning how to do GI mapping. GI mapping, the test, interpreting the results, formulating a protocol, all of that is not something that we learn in nursing or medical school or any type of college format, really, or any type of education format. It's something extra that you have to go out and seek and go through a program that teaches you how to do that. So even your GI doctor does not necessarily understand or know how to interpret these results or formulate a protocol. So this is the program we went through, the course that we went through. What I love most about it is we also joined a GI mapping forum. It's a community of healthcare providers who have completed this course, and we can brainstorm together. So let's say hypothetically, I have a baby and I'm like, hey, I don't have an alternative to this supplement I want to put them on. Has anyone done a baby before that has this problem and has had success using a different product? And we can just kind of brainstorm together. So I love having that additional community and support. I don't use it often, but when I do, it's super helpful. And it's just important to know that we work as a team and that we work interjoined and that we do have multifaceted backgrounds to be able to bounce things off of each other. So let's talk about what is a GI map. This is actually what the test looks like. It comes to you in the mail. It is through Diagnostic Solutions Laboratory. They are out of Georgia. And let me do some moving here. I can't see part of this. The GI mapping actually stands for Gastrointestinal Microbial Assay Plus. So that is what GI map means. It is the first and only stool test in the world that is running full quantitative PCR on multiple GI targets. So what that means is that they're actually testing for the DNA of these pathogens or microorganisms that are living in your gut. So historically, what has happened is that they would just basically take a stool sample and smear it on a slide and look in a microscope and see if they see any of these microorganisms, count them. Then it kind of advanced, some still do that, but then it's kind of advanced to computers doing that. So this takes it a step further in accuracy, and they actually are testing DNA, which allows it to be much, much more accurate, which is why we choose to use the GI map system through Diagnostic Solutions, because we trust those results and we know that they are more accurate than other things that are out there available. What they are testing for includes pathogenic and opportunistic bacteria. We'll talk a little bit more about what that is: worms, yeast, parasites, and comprehensive antibiotic resistant genes alongside intestinal health, digestive, and immune markers. So we are testing a lot of different things and interpreting a lot of different things through this test. So what is the microbiome? As we're talking about this, the microbiome is an ecosystem that lives in and on your body. We need it and have a symbiotic relationship with it. So it can't live without us, and we actually can't live without it. We have to have this bacteria bacteria, and these microorganisms living on and in our body for our body to function. So we need it there. There is enough in our gut to cover a tennis court. The average adult has about 3 to 6 pounds of it living in the gut. There's over 500 species. Some studies suggest closer to 1,000. We know that our gut is responsible, and the microbiome is responsible for about 80% of our immune system in our gut. And then we also know that 90 to 95% of our serotonin, which is a neurotransmitter, is also produced in the gut. So we know our neurotransmitters start originating and can be produced in the gut as well. We do know that there is a gut-brain connection. So the digestive system has neural pathways that attach directly to our brain, and they communicate. So we tend to see when there is dysfunction or dysbiosis or illness in one, there tends to be a correlation to an illness in the other. So the gut-brain connection is very, very important, and there's tons of research coming out about it right now. And we also need this for nutrient absorption. This is what helps us digest our food, and this is what helps us be able to absorb our nutrients appropriately and efficiently. So this is what the test looks like. This is what the results look like. So as we're looking at this, we get 5 pages that look like this. So what we're looking at over here are the different microorganisms, viruses, yeast, parasites, fungus, all of the things that we are testing are over here. The middle column is your specific results, and over here are the controls. So this is what we are looking at as far as what we can compare to being normal, being high, being too low, and that's how we get a gauge on what's going on in the gut. So why would we want to test our microbiome or our gut? What are we looking to improve or to heal or to help? So reasons to test are autoimmune disease, IBS or IBD, irritable bowel syndrome, digestive complaints such as heartburn, bloating, diarrhea, and constipation, brain fog, skin problems like acne, psoriasis, eczema is another big one that I see people reach out about, mood disorders, depression, and anxiety. Diabetes, weight loss issues. A lot of times when people have weight gain or are having a really hard time losing weight, a lot of times there can be specific bacteria in the gut that can contribute to that. Reasons to test as well are neurologic concerns. Again, we talked about how we know that neurotransmitters are produced and the building blocks start in the gut for that. So neurologic concerns are a reason to test. Hormone disruptions, sleep issues, energy issues, immune function, people who are feeling nutrient deprived and need optimal nutrient absorption, such as low weight gain. I've done a few kids that are having a hard time gaining weight, and GI mapping has been very helpful for them in improving their weight gain. And then improved recovery and healing. I have had athletes reach out to me as well that we GI map for optimal healing and recovery associated with that too. So first thing we do is we test. Once we test, I'm going to admit one more person. Once we test, we get your results, we have your results, then what do we do? So at that point, then what we're going to do is we're going to formulate a protocol. We interpret them, we look at them, we discuss them if we need to as a team. And then what we do is we then formulate a protocol. The protocol is based on each person's individual results. So no 2 protocols are alike. And they range between 3 to 6 months long with a reintegration phase. So the 3 to 6 month long, I know it's kind of annoying giving a generality like that, but we can't tell you what your protocol is going to look like until we get your results back. It is always a minimum of 3 months. If you have a pretty basic dysbiosis or imbalance in your gut, and just a few things that we need to tweak here and there, then typically that's about 3 months. If we find some immune dysfunction, generally that runs us about 4 months. And then if there's things like a lot of yeast and we're thinking maybe there's some leaky gut going on, then in those situations, it tends to be closer to 6 months. We do believe in a natural approach. So we do use natural alternatives to target and to rebalance the things that we're trying to do in the gut. That's really important because we try really, really hard not to use pharmaceuticals. We have found that natural alternatives a lot of times are safer and can actually actually in some studies show to be more effective than pharmaceuticals. However, with that being said, there has been only one case that I have had to refer out to get some pharmaceutical intervention. So we try really hard not to do that. Some cases do warrant that, but that's very, very rare that we do have to do that. Okay, here we go. Okay, so making sure I'm on the right one. What does a protocol entail? When I say the word protocol, what does that mean? So first part to that are supplements. So as we're talking about supplements, they will be taken 2 to 3 times a day. The amount of supplements you're on or which supplements you're on, again, depends on specifically what we find on your results. They may change as the protocol progresses. So sometimes we do have different phases. So you'll be on certain different supplements as the phases progress. So sometimes they change. Some people are on the same ones the whole time. It just depends. The supplements specifically on the protocol, they address cell nutrients, immune function, inflammation, detoxing, and binding. Not everyone needs the detoxing and binding. It's only if we tend to see that there's potential hormone issues, killing overgrowth and pathogenic microorganisms, and then growing good bacteria. And it's also really important to know that we're also trying to heal the intestinal lining through this process as well. So the second phase, or the second part of your protocol, is we also integrate nutritional changes in specific nutrition things that we want you to implement. So with that, specific nutritional support will be implemented. We ask that you must be willing to eliminate certain things from your diet. So when we talk about that, we're talking about things like sugar, processed foods, and alcohol. We need to be very clear about that up front, because if that's something that you know that you're not going to be able to comply with or do, then it's going to be your protocol or your results will be much affected by that and be very limited. So we just want to make sure that you know ahead of time that there will be nutritional changes associated with your protocol. Now, the next part is the lifestyle section of your protocol. And this is equally as important. And the reason for that is because we have found through research that has been done that it is very, very hard to heal your gut and any imbalances, especially immune dysfunctions and different things like that, if your lifestyle is not also in order. And what I mean by that is if you are extremely stressed, if you have a lot of emotional imbalances, let's say you're going through something very emotionally traumatic, things like that, if we cannot support you and address that through additional supplementation. Sometimes we even ask that we look at counseling alongside your protocol, things like that. Then it's much harder to heal the gut. So we look at a lifestyle, specifically the emotional aspects, the stress, the emotions. It's a very big thing that we look at in addition to healing the gut. Sleep support is another thing. We need you to get really good, solid sleep. So we discuss that and go over that and some ideas and help suggestions and sometimes supplements for that as well, because if you are not sleeping, then you are not allowing your body to heal appropriately, and we really need your body to support us on this journey. We want to eliminate toxic exposures because we know certain toxins are very disruptive to your microbiome, and then movement is very important too. That helps us. Light exercise and different movements of the body is very helpful in helping the healing process as well. So what to expect? This is not a cleanse. So I always get people being like, oh my gosh, am I going to be able to go to work? Like, am I going to be going to the bathroom 5 times a day? Am I going to have diarrhea the whole time? No, we don't want that. We want you to have natural, normal bowel movements at least once a day. So if you are severely constipated or if you are having diarrhea through the process, then we need to change and alter your protocol because we want you to be comfortable and we want to make sure that nothing weird or extreme, we would consider that extreme, is going on during the protocol. So this is not a cleanse or a colon cleanse or anything like that, that you might have that inclination that is what we would expect. That's not what's going to happen during the protocol. Adjustments to the protocol can occur. And what I mean by that is sometimes a supplement doesn't sit well with someone, or someone doesn't like the taste of it, or they're like, hey, this is a powder form, can I do a pill form or whatever. Sometimes we do make adjustments and sometimes adjustments are necessary throughout the protocol. And you should have symptom improvement or resolution by the end of your protocol. So that is what the ultimate thing that we're looking for. If you're coming to us with a specific goal or symptom elimination, then that is what we want to look for, that we can achieve that by the time that the protocol is ended. This is not ideal for someone who is nursing pregnant or trying to get pregnant. You can test while you're pregnant, but just know that we don't want you to go through with the entire protocol necessarily if you are nursing pregnant or trying to get pregnant. And we can talk more if you fall into that demographic, we can talk more specifics on that. So what are the steps to take? First, you would go to the website that we have. So for example, if you're GI mapping with me, you would go to my website, you select the package. When you select the package that you want, you input your information and that starts your name in our system. What happens then is I get notified that you have selected a package. In that notification, get your email, get your phone number, get your mailing address. That is how we get your address to mail you the kit. The kit comes directly from Diagnostic Solutions, the lab. So the lab actually mails you your kit. It looks like this. This is the size of it. It gets mailed to you. Once that happens, I also send you a welcome email, kind of going through the steps of what to expect. I send you a medical questionnaire. It's pretty lengthy, so I ask you to fill that out, and intake forms to sign. Once you get your lab kit, you will then submit your sample. The directions are in your kit. It's very, very easy and straightforward on how to do it. You then take it, I can't remember if it's UPS or FedEx, it's prepaid in a bag. You take it and you drop it and it gets mailed directly to the lab. Another important thing to remember is within the kit, there's a piece of paper and that's what you're going to put your insurance. If you have medical insurance, put that on the piece of paper in the kit. I do not deal with insurance. The lab deals with that. So that's why it's really important to make sure you put your insurance on here. I do not know if your insurance is going to cover it. I've never billed Medicare, or the lab has, I've not done any Medicare, Medicaid. I've actually done one, and we did not try to submit for reimbursement for that. So I do not know if Medicare, Medicaid does. That would be something you would want to contact the lab and ask them. However, I have never had, other than that, any insurance not pay nothing. So typically they pay about 50% or a certain percentage of it. So that's important to know. That's why we want you to put your medical information in there, or excuse me, your insurance information in there so that you can, they can work with the lab. The lab can work with your insurance about that. Once we receive your results, the times vary for that. So it depends on how many samples the lab is going through. I would say typically is about a week to 2 weeks that it takes us to get your results. Then once we get your results, I look at them, I formulate your protocol, we interpret them, and then we schedule your consultation. I can speak for myself. My consultations usually take about an hour and a half. So during that consultation, what we're doing is we are going through your results. I want you to be able to read your GI map and know what it's saying and what's going on. And then we go over your protocol and then answer questions associated with that. Typically that's done over Zoom. Most of the people that I work with are not local to me. If you are local to me, then we can meet in person, but typically it's always done over Zoom. And then it's important to know that all of your stuff, this is all medical, so it's HIPAA protected. So I have been asked that question before. So frequently asked questions that I want to go over with you. One is, what supplements do you use? So we use a variety of different supplements. We do not do any pre-formulated kits or anything like that. And the reason for that is because that isn't targeted for you. It's not made for you. Pre-formulated kits a lot of times either don't work fully with what we find on the GI map, or sometimes what's in certain GI cleansing kits or detoxing kits can actually make some people's symptoms worse, depending on what's going on with their GI map. So with that being said, we do use a combination and a mixture. We dispense through a dispensary that is for licensed providers called the Doctor Supplement Store. We love them because we know that they're storing the supplements correctly. They ship them correctly. If they need to be shipped on ice, they ship them refrigerated. So we know the quality is being contained in that. We can also send you an easy script. So we actually email you the script of what we want you to purchase. And all you have to do is click it and put your information in, and it comes directly to you. It makes it really easy. In many, I would say most situations, we also do use essential oils internally. The reason for that is, and again, these are pharmaceutical grade essential oils that we use. The reason for that is because the potency of them, we're actually able to use much lower doses. And then we find that people are actually able to use them much easier than some of the alternatives that we would have to use from an herbal standpoint. So we do see really great results when we do use essential oils in the protocols. What does the package price cover? Okay, so I want to be very clear. There's two different things that are going on through the GI mapping process. One is the kit. This is what you are going to be using insurance or additional payment to cover the kit. Again, this payment goes between the lab and yourself, or the lab and your insurance company. We do not have any, like, our hands aren't in that at all, if that makes sense. We get the results from the lab, but payment goes to the lab. Now, when you go to our website or you go to my website, what you are purchasing there is you are purchasing the 1 hour, typically 1.5, I always go over. So 1.5 hour consultation with me to go over your results and your protocol. It covers the doctor's fee. And then it also covers the ongoing support that you get. So if your protocol is 3 months, if it's 6 months, whatever, we are staying in contact throughout this process because I want to make sure everything's going well, that you're having symptom resolution, that everything is going as planned, and that you don't have questions. I'm here for any questions, but all during that, it's also covering the price of that as well. So that's all encompassing in the package that you get. Another very frequently asked questions is, what if I don't want to do the protocol? What if I want to do part of the protocol, or what if I want to wait? So you're the boss, not me. We give you the tools that you need, and you can make the decision. You can make the decision of, hey, I actually don't want to do the protocol. That's totally fine. Or you can say, hey, I just want to do this for the H. pylori and the dysbiosis. I don't want to do this for the yeast. You can make a decision if you just want to do part of the protocol, or just target certain specific things that you're looking at doing. Or if you want to wait, a lot of times people wait, like, let's say, like, hey, I have a birthday in a month and I really want to get through my birthday, and then I can start the protocol after that. That's totally fine. I would say my personal opinion is waiting more than like 4 to 6 months. I wouldn't do that because things will have changed in your body enough that it might not be as effective. Your dysbiosis may have changed. You may have gotten actually new pathogens since then. So that would be a little bit of a stretch of too long to wait that I would feel comfortable with. But if you need to wait a little bit for financial reasons, or you have traveling coming up or anything like that, a short period of time of waiting is totally acceptable and okay. Does insurance cover things? So again, I've talked about that a little bit already. And are there age limits? So the answer to that is no. I've done as young as 10 months, and I've done as old as people in their 70s. So there's no age limit to testing in the protocols. Obviously, a protocol for a baby is very, very different than a really big muscular 30-year-old guy, right? So it's going to be very tailored and very different based off of what we find in the age as well. So age is a factor in the protocols and how we formulate the protocol specifically. So that's it. I hope that this was helpful. I am going to stop recording here in a minute and answer questions if you guys have any questions. But my website is naturallyerin.com. My email, if you want to reach out to me by email, is naturallyerin@gmail.com. Just make sure you're doing Erin right. It's ARYN. And then you can find me on Instagram or Facebook at naturallyerin as well. Those are my handles. I guess that's what they're called, on social media. So that's how you can contact me specifically. And my business name is Naturally Erin. So you can find me in any of the ways. If you just need to Google that, you will find me through that too. So let me stop sharing and then turn the recording off so I can answer any questions if there are any.